Okay boys and girls, we have a few more classes to cover in Disgaea 5, so let's get to it. First of all, the Dark Knight. The Dark Knight class is your all-around evolution of the melee classes. He's supposed to be a late game melee powerhouse in the same way that the Sage becomes your late game magic powerhouse. He has a good amount of attack and defense, and is basically good in stats all around. Swords, spears, axes and fists are all perfectly fine to use, but fists may be slightly less good due to the dependence on the speed stat. Their unique ability, Ripple Impact, causes damage to spread to adjacent enemies, as in enemies adjacent to the target, meaning you'll get some bonus damage out of those powerful single target attacks. His first unique attack, Vital Steel, recovers health as it damages. As the Dark Knight's kind of a late game class, this isn't massively useful due to its mediocre damage. If this was available earlier in the game, it would be much better. Lightning Sword, however, is much better as a skill. It's a simple 3x3 damage attack, but that's where its strength lies. 3x3 attacks have always been coveted as great leveling and grinding attacks. This is why Big Bang has been a staple power leveling move since early in the series. So despite looking really cool, Dark Knight's pretty straightforward. He's got great stats, and he's your go-to for a late game melee unit. The Sage, well, I guess I've already covered the Sage. If you go and look at my leveling and max stats videos, I've got one video that's basically devoted to explaining the Sage. She is possibly the most overpowered and most useful class in all of Disgaea 5. Go watch that video for the full explanation, but I'll give you a quick rundown here since, well, you're already here. The Sage has Mass Blaster, which causes damage to increase depending on the amount of targets, and her unique skills are Multi-Attacker, which lets the target attack twice, and Land Decimator, which is a weak attack but it hits every enemy unit on the map regardless of their position. Everyone needs a Sage, and it takes a full video to explain why, so I would urge you to go check out that old video. The Maid is the same in that she's probably the second most useful class next to the Sage. She has a mastery over items, which is a really interesting angle for Disgaea. Her unique ability Effective Work allows her to use an item in addition to any other action she performs. The Maid's abilities can be abused to increase your character's stat gain by using the same item on 5 characters simultaneously. More information about how to do this is also in one of my old videos. On top of having some great abilities, she also has some good skills. Trick Light raises the power of skills used by the target, which is a very useful buff. And then she also has Afternoon Tea, which is amazingly useful. It allows the target to take a second turn. You can use this to make your best unit get twice as many turns when facing a powerful boss, or use it to move a unit out of danger. There's a lot of functionality. As for weapons, she's actually average on everything except axes and fists, which she's worse at. I personally use staffs and teach her some support skills, since her item support is invaluable. Okay, we're going to move on to the angel classes. So first of all, the male angel, or celestial host. This class is one of those weird hybrid classes, trying to take on 2 roles at once. He has decent attack, defense, hit, and res, and is a damage dealer with some healing and buffing abilities. His ability is Angel Song, a very useful ability which increases adjacent allies' attack by 25%. So 4 of these guys around your main attacker gives you an easy 100% increase to your damage output. Holy Saber is his first unique skill, and it's a strange one. It deals damage to enemies, but heals other angels. This, by the way, can be used on either male or female angels. It doesn't strike me as too useful unless you plan on having a mainly angel team, which can be viable if you're planning on using that Angel Song strat that I mentioned before. Miracle of Love is rather unique. It actually kills your angel unit, but then lets you pick one of your dead teammates to bring back to life instead. This is useful to have even if you aren't going to use the angel for any other reason, as you can essentially give your best units an extra life. Celestial hosts are a bit of a mixed up class. but they have a couple of very powerful tools at their disposal which distinguish them from other hybrid units. And so we come to the female angel, the Celestial Hostess. And just so you know, this class is DLC on the PS4 version. The female angel is the mirror invert of the male. She has stats in int rather than attack, and has a slightly higher res. This lends to her being a more magic and healing focused version of the hybrid class that we see in the male. She can use swords, staffs and bows best. But like I said, you might want to focus on magic with staffs due to her higher int. Her evility, Angel Protection, decreases damage taken by 5% to all allies within 3 panels. This can stack with other angels up to 30%. Not an exciting evility, but I'll never complain about straight damage reduction or stat increases. Echoing Hymn is her first unique skill. It increases all elemental resistances. I don't really see this being too helpful unless you know that the enemy is going to be using elemental attacks, since there are a lot of non-elemental skills in the game. A straight boost to defense or res would have been better. Penalty of Death is, well, interesting and different, but not useful. It's a powerful skill with a massive range, but the catch is it kills the user. So it's kind of like a last-ditch effort, and well, if you're making a suicide unit, why didn't you just make a Prinny? I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, maybe there's something I'm missing here. But the female angel feels a little less useful than her male counterpart, unless you're looking for a healer with some damage potential. But even then, you may find better choices available. Still, they look rad and they've been around since Disgaea 1. So, other than the Asagi clones, who will get mentioned in a future video, that's all the humanoid class has done. Let me know in the comments and subscribe if you'd like videos for the monster classes too. And at the risk of dating this video, let's try and get to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for watching as usual. It's been a blast doing all these, and there is definitely more Disgaea 5 in the future. But also we'll probably take a look at the remake of Disgaea 1 when it comes out. See you next time!